Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to the Finstep Asia Edge podcast. We are here at GFF 2024, India's largest and probably now the world's largest fintech festival. With me today is a friend and someone I've known for many years, Chiranth Patil, co-founder of a very exciting Insurtech startup in India who's been growing significantly in recent times. Chiranth, thank you so much for joining us today.
How have you been? Musheer. Very good. Thank you for having me over.
Thank you. Look, you've done so much in seeing the growth of fintech and finance in India. What has been your journey? I'd love the audience to understand how you got into fintech and how you became a co-founder.
Yeah, well, it's guys, some of these things you can only connect the dots looking backwards, as they say, right?
Correct,
so
yeah.
For me, my journey has been a combination of my work experience in a couple of companies in the US, like Fidelity Investments and Deloitte Consulting, where I did a little bit of work on the fintech side. And then one thing led to another, and here I am, right? So it was all about connecting the dots in terms of where passion and opportunities kind of intersect.
Sure.
And for me, though I do not have an Insurtech background per se, met two amazing co-founders along the way. And had some sort of help along the way with some amazing folks who advised me in the right direction as well. Fell in love with insurance because it's the only financial service which has the least gratification, if you can say so. Nobody wants to use the insurance product even after buying the product, right? That's I don't think there's any other product in the world that has as low a gratification as insurance does. So to be able to crack that and democratize that was an opportunity that I thought was something that I could live with for the rest of my life and perhaps kind of pass on.
So, building on that, you hit a nail in terms of insurance. India is still growing when it comes to insurance penetration as such. I forget Insurtech, but that's one of the target areas of the government to increase insurance across different services. How are you seeing the insurance market grow? Which are the areas you see as the main focus areas? And secondly is how can Insurtech enable that growth story in India?
Great question, Musheer. And so just to take a step back and look at the fundamentals, right? India is the most populous country in the world.
Correct.
And it is literally 2% of the global insurance market size. Now, though it is very small, it is growing probably 3 to 4 times the rest of the market.
Sure.
So it's a very exciting growth market for insurance in general. And at the same time, we are probably half the global median insurance penetration rate. So insurance penetration rate in India is about 3.5-4%, while the global average is about a little over 7.5%. So there's a long way to go. So we need enough and more companies across the entire value chain to come in and make a difference and point the needle northwards. It's a great time to be building for insurance and Insurtech, for the insurance industry and Insurtech as the sort of the business model.
Sure.
Insurtech in general, like fintech, is kind of over-encompassing. It can be further nuanced and deconstructed, as you very well know. I'm sure you guys at Fintech Asia are doing some amazing work in that space as well.
We've been looking into it,
So in India, there are predominantly about 5 or 6 models. So one model is a direct distribution model, like a Policy Bazaar. And there are many great companies in the space. I'm going to talk a little bit about 1 or 2 companies in the space. Then there is distribution enablers like ourselves, like what work that Riskcovry does. Then there are sort of SaaS companies that are not focused on distribution, but SaaS companies focused on insurers, right? And there are also sort of new age insurers like Digit and Acco. And then there are Insurtech enablers or sort of infrastructure providers that cut across the entire value chain. That's where kind of Riskcovry as a company kind of comes in as well, though we monetize from the earlier bit that you mentioned. So it's an exciting time to be building across the board. Every segment has a couple of companies leading it, and there is a fair amount of growth for a lot of sort of companies to come in as well. And as I mentioned earlier, there is I think we are about 400 or 500 fintechs, Insurtechs in India. And there's a lot of room to grow. Overall, the government and the IRDA, the regulator, has a grand vision of insurance for all for 2047. I'm probably biased in saying this because I'm Indian founder, but we think we have the most progressive insurtech regulator in the world.
That's good to hear.
In just the way sort of how progressive they are in terms of regulations assisting technology companies and vice versa to kind of fill the gap because IRDA has not only a regulatory and a governance agenda, but also an insurance development agenda. Right, so it's a great time.
It's one of the most heavily regulated areas in the world,
because of
right?
mis-selling,
And having that innovation element is pretty critical for the growth of Insurtech.
Right.
Now, you touched upon Riskcovry, you spoke about the distribution side of things, but also about the other things you're doing across the models. And we love to hear more about Riskcovry and how that growth journey has been for you guys.
Yeah, so we are a little over 6.5-year-old company.
Yeah.
Though sometimes it feels 6.5 days, sometimes it feels 6.5 decades.
Yeah.
So it depends. But it's been a great journey. Just aside, we are very lucky to be building what we are building.
Yeah.
So Riskcovry is an insurtech infrastructure company. We sit between insurance companies on one end and distributors of insurance or major distributors of insurance on the other end, and provide the entire infrastructure, the digital infrastructure that is required to power any insurance product digitally.
Sure.
So the analogy is that when a large enterprise wouldn't build their own payment gateway, when they want to accept digital payments from the end customers, they don't need to build their own insurance gateway either to distribute insurance to the same customers. So in that sense, we are an insurance gateway. And the space that we operate in is called Insurtech infrastructure, which is an exciting time to be building because it cuts through the entire value chain, and it can go really broad and deep at the same time. We just hit some sort of growth milestones along the way. Last year we processed about $200 million or so in premium.
That's pretty impressive, yeah.
And so just hit some interesting double-digit $1 million revenue marks as well.
Congratulations, that's very, very impressive.
Thank you so much. And closed a couple of funding rounds back to back as well. So can sort of safely say that we are probably the most advanced company or more mature company, both from a business as well as from a fundraise perspective.
Sure.
Definitely from a product perspective as it relates to this particular space. Though we have some amazing peers in our space as well, sort of with whom we work with, collaborate with, at the same time we compete with. Overall, it's like I said, it's a great time to be building what we're building, and in many ways we think we're just getting started.
So I want to ask you a couple of questions. This is a quick bite, but generating revenue and revenue positive companies are rare. Fintech's seen a lot of companies who burn too much and then struggle to continue their growth. How did you reach revenue positive? Like, what was the mindset? And now that you've hit these milestones, you've got some funding that's going to fuel that. What are your focus areas in the coming, say, 2-3 years time to continue building your revenue while growing a certain part of the business?
Yeah, there is a lot that like I said, you can just connect the dots looking backwards. And in many ways, we have reached this stage only because we just kept focusing on our business model of being asset light, capital efficient, and building things brick by brick. Right, so it has taken a fair amount of time for us to reach here because infrastructure by definition is a long tail business strategy. You need to be able to build critical mass of software before you can continue to reuse it, and at which point in time customers come on board faster, they go live faster, you make money faster.
Correct.
So for us to reach that critical mass, it has taken about 5 years or so, and on the back of which we are seeing sort of rapid growth. It is true that it is it's turning profitable at a significant base in fintech, let alone Insurtech, is not easy. So we find ourselves just lucky and grateful to be where we are. In terms of forward momentum, I don't think anything else is going to change. We are in the business model that we are. There is a lot of headroom to grow. We are not even moving the needle in terms of what we can do in terms of impact in India, in countries like India. And it's about sort of technology coming in to power the way, right? Technology can be a great enabler to the entire value chain, and we are seeing a lot of wide spaces for us to kind of use technology intelligently and power things through.
Last question: any international plans? The future, what are you thinking of?
So sort of by definition we are an asset light, capital efficient business model, which means that you can be borderless. Right now we are our head is in India. We are an India headquartered company. We think we'll always be an India headquartered company.
That's great to hear,
and it's built in India, for India, potentially to the world. So we haven't gone out of India just yet, just because of the momentum that we have in India. And India is probably the most brightest shining star in terms of economies globally.
Yeah.
So, but do we see opportunities where a product like ours can make a fundamental difference in other markets as well? So stay tuned, I guess.
Thank you so much for joining us on Finstep Asia Edge podcast.
Thank you.
Audience, stay tuned for more of these conversations. Click like, subscribe, and follow us for more. Once again, thank you, Chiranth Patil, co-founder of Riskcovry, powering Insurtech for India in the future. Thank you very much.
Thank you. Thank you, Musheer.